keenest interest on Ibr92.5 FM.
You're right to know.
It's midday, good afternoon. Here's the world news at glance on Impact Business Radio, Ibr92.5 FM, the headlines. Afenifere tells Buhari to match words with action, says insecurity is still the same. Judiciary urged to create special courts for speedy prosecution of gender-based violence cases. National Association of Nigerian Students accused leaders of lack of commitment. On the foreign scene, China rescues woman alive from rubble after 6 days of building collapse. My name is Joe Ibr. Now the news and details. The Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Organization, Afenifere, has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to match his words with his action regarding the various indices of governance, particularly security. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi, the group said President Buhari information and assurance to Nigerians during this year Eid-al-Fitr celebration runs against the reality on the ground. The President in his Ramadan message had disclosed that the end to terrorism act is very much in sight and that Nigerians have reasons to mark the Ramadan festival with hope. As the battle waged against the terrorists who falsely masquerade under the name of Islam is approaching its conclusion, while agreeing with the President that the fight against terrorists in the country has been long and hard, the Yoruba body, however, stated that the government has not succeeded in convincing most Nigerians that the final victory is within sight. The president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, Sunday Ashefon, has accused Nigerian leaders of ignoring the plight of students who are at the receiving end of the ongoing strike action embarked upon the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Ashefon also said that the leaders have diverted attention to the 2023 general elections, reassured that his union would disrupt the forthcoming primary election of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) if the industrial action is not called off. Ashefon, who spoke during a televised interview, accused the federal government of a lack of commitment and sincerity in resolving the impasse between it and the striking university workers. Still on the eve of the press freedom celebration, journalists across the country have bemoaned their worsening working conditions. In a chat with Impact News crew, they expressed worry that the space for freedom of expression have been constricted in Nigeria. Taiwo Olariwaji completes the report.
To mark this, journalists across the country have shown their displeasure over their worsening working conditions as they join their counterparts across the globe to mark this year's World Press Freedom Day. They expressed worry that the space for freedom of expression has been constricted in the country, especially with the rising cases of harassment, arrest, and detention of journalists. Speaking with Impact News Crew correspondent, the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Oyo State Chapter, Comrade Demola Babalola, decried the worsening conditions of journalists, adding that journalists are still struggling to make ends meet. He decried the low remuneration for journalists, adding that there should be tax waivers for media assets. Babalola, however, urged journalists to stick to the ethics of their job in all dealings.
Generally speaking, the welfare of journalists today in Nigeria is generally low, nothing to write home about, and the morale of journalists are very, very low, considerably. The government at all levels must come to the aid of the media in this country. For instance, today, every media organization, every medium now operates 24/7 using diesel to power the generator. There's no amount of dividends or profits you make that can mitigate the problem of the amount spent monthly on running of the generator to power the media houses. So, for me, I'm appealing to the government to use this occasion of this year's World Press Freedom Day to support the media owners. If possible, give us financial support.
On his part, a veteran broadcaster, Ambassador Yemi Farumbi, expressed concern about press freedom in Nigeria.
We have to begin to build a culture of freedom. Sometimes when you go to Britain or some other European country, it is not the law that protects press freedom. It is the culture. It has become a tradition.
Babala further urged the press to remain steadfast in the discharge of its responsibilities, saying of all professions, it is only the press that is empowered by the Constitution of Nigeria to hold government and its functionaries accountable at all times. They charged the federal government to uphold the right to freedom of expression as enriched in Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the African Charter on Peoples and Human Rights. Taiwo Olanrewaju, Impact Business Radio News.
In order to ensure speedy dispensation of justice and also dissuade perpetrators of gender-based violence in Nigeria, a non-governmental organization has called on the judiciary arm of government to prioritize the prosecution of perpetrators by creating a special court. The executive director of the foundation, Taibat Hussein, made the call in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, during a press conference to herald the launching of the state gender-based violence project. Hussein expressed concern that over the years, victims of gender-based violence get little or no justice as several of the perpetrators escape the long arm of law. Nigerian Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development recently disclosed that out of the 5,100 cases of GBV currently in courts, only a paltry 16 convictions have been secured. Hussein also called on security agencies to handle GBV cases professionally without shaming the victims. On the foreign scene, rescuers in the central Chinese city of Changsha have pulled a woman alive from the rubble of a 6-story building 6 days after it collapsed. While about 10 people survived the disaster, at least 5 were killed and dozens are still missing. Arrests have also made as the building safety is investigated. Reports added that weak safety and construction standards along with corruption among local officials have led to a number of building collapses in China. To end the news, another look at the major item. Afenifere tells Buhari to match words with action, says insecurity is still the same. Judiciary urged to create special courts for speedy prosecution of gender-based violence cases. National Association of Nigerian Students accused leaders of lack of commitment. On the foreign scene, China rescues woman alive from rubble after 6 days of building. The news was produced and edited by Feromi Akimbote. I am Joy Aibe. Good afternoon.
News. And now